Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys are all enjoying your week so far. Not long till the weekend now. I thought I'd jump on and talk a little bit about Newcastle players leaving the club this summer window. We've spoken a fair bit about players joining the club. We've seen Tonali, we've seen Barnes. Hopefully there's a few more to come still. But last night, after the Newcastle versus Chelsea game out in USA, Eddie Howe, all but confirmed the exit of a few players. So I thought I'd talk about that, and a lot of people picking up on the price tags of these players, which is a lot lower than maybe we would have hoped for. So I'll talk about all of that, but first, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. It means you guys don't miss out any future videos. But I was going to say, let's talk about the game last night. Newcastle versus Chelsea, 1-1 over in Atlanta. Great to see Miggy get on the score sheet. That's two goals in 2 games for him. Where does he score it? At Atlanta, where he was before we bought him. So the roof, by the way, what a stadium. Yeah, it looks quality out there, but the roof almost burst off the stadium when Miggy scored. All of the Atlanta fans giving a huge reception to him. So really happy. We saw Miggy have a great pre-season last season. I thought that really carried him well to have a good season for us. So if he can have another good pre-season, what kind of season could he have? And the person everybody's talking about today after the game is Lewis Miley. What a player he is, taking on, the likes of 100+ million pound players, Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea, and getting the better of it. Eddie Howe actually spoke about Miley in an interview after, saying that he's been quite aware of this kid for quite some time, but wants to be careful on how often he plays him, not exposing him to the game too quickly as a youngster, but he wants to make sure he gets the best out of him. And he has also confirmed that Miley will not be going out on loan this season. He will be staying with the club to help his development. You talk about Elliot Anderson, in the previous game especially, had a really, really good run out. It's great to see local lads making it in the side and doing it on the big stage. And you talk about trying to bring players in this summer window. Well, hang on. We've got a couple of fantastic players out in the wings waiting to get their shout. That's going to be a massive boost to this season as well. To mention a few others, I thought Gordon once again looked really, really lively in the game. Brilliant to see him in action once again. And great to see Nick Pope back as well. The save he made at the end, with seconds to go, 1-1 on the clock, and Pope's pulling out a top corner save was absolutely quality. So yes, overall, another draw, 2 draws and 2 out in America. But I would say some really good performances out there. On the other side of it, we did see Shaw go off with an injury. Eddie Howe has said that he does not believe it's as serious as they may have first thought, which is a good thing. However, I would still comment on the fact that we looked a bit slow at the back. Chelsea have got some pretty pacey players, and not every team has that. And I wouldn't say, that's the thing, I wouldn't say Trippier's game is based on pace. I think, unlike a Kyle Walker, who in fairness is a very, very good player, Trippier's never really been the quickest right back. You could talk about, Botman, I think, has enough pace, but then you're kind of looking around, at a Dan Burn at left back and Shaw. We don't have the quickest team at the back. Maybe, a slightly more pacey centre-back to come in this window, a slightly more pacey left-back could be handy for the summer coming up. But generally speaking, maybe I'm being a little bit picky. I thought we had a really good game. And as I said, Eddie Howe was spoken to after the game and asked about, what is the situation with transfers, players coming in, players coming out. And he did talk about Carl Darlow, obviously the Newcastle goalkeeper who has been heavily linked away from the club this summer window. We've got 1 million goalkeepers, and if it's not just Darlow, it could well be another as well. If you think Nick Pope, Karius, Dubravka and Gillespie and Darlow, really it should be 2. What will happen with that one? I can't really see Gillespie leaving, so maybe you're looking at, will Dubravka move on this summer? But anyway, Eddie Howe pretty much spoke about the fact that Carl Darlow has been heavily linked away, and it's understood that he is on his way to Leeds. Now, the thing is, Darlow was heavily linked with Hull, Middlesbrough, a couple of other teams already this summer window, with fees of around 5 million coming out, and everyone going, that's not too bad, 5 million for Darlow, a keeper who doesn't play. Talking about FFP, and 5 million over 5 years is actually 25 million that we can spend, and it's something to add to the kitty. Well, as per Keith Downey and Sky Sports, it's being reported that fee is closer to 400,000. And that doesn't quite sound as nice. You guys let me know your thought on that one down below. Carl Darlow, 400 grand. In this world, is he not worth a little bit more than that? Or is that the going rate for a goalie who really hasn't played a lot of football for us? Obviously, he's had his loan spells. He has a great time in the Championship for us not too long ago. But generally speaking, isn't a player that gets used. And I think there's two sides to this coin. I think one thing is if we sell him, we're getting the wages off the bill. So yes, it's money coming in, but it's also money off the wage bill. The other side of it is, well, the first one is that Carl Darlow doesn't get a lot of game time, so what kind of team... It's not like they're buying one of our first team players and they know they're going to have to pay loads. They know that we have 5 goalies. And they know that we aren't really in a place to barter and go, we want this, we want that. Really, we just kind of want some of these players out the door. And I think that's kind of what fell down, or is reportedly what fell down with Hull and Middlesbrough in the first place, was we were asking for money, and they don't want to pay... And we'll come on to a few other players. If we'll get into it now, Hayden, Hendrick, some of these guys, I think we can't really give them away at the moment, and to get 400k, is that better than just going, you know what, let's just let them leave to get some sort of wages off the books? So on one hand, it sounds like we're getting done over on 400k, but on the other hand, what kind of position are we in? Because we have too many players. We need to make some space. We've got youngsters coming through. We're trying to buy players as well. And at the minute, we've got players sitting on decent wages who probably would rather sit and not move at all. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Another player who has been confirmed leaving today is Kel Watts. He has moved on to Wigan on loan for the season. I believe his contract only actually has a year left on it, so he'll probably stay on loan at Wigan for a year and then just move to them on a free at the end of the year. So that's another player we're letting go of without any fee coming in. What it does do is move the wages off the books, although I'm sure Kel Watts probably wasn't on a huge amount. All the best to Kel Watts. Happy for him to hopefully go and get some first team football. It's great to have players coming through, but on the other hand, there's such a small margin of where they come into the team, and you have to be good in that amount of time, especially when you're coming into a team and we already have Botman and Shaw playing centre back. He's not going to get in. He's not going to get in there. And when he does get in there, you've got to make it count. That's why the Lewis Miley one's interesting, because he's come in and everyone's suddenly gone, wow. Same with Anderson. He's come in and made quite a quick impact, and it's almost like you have to seal your time in like that, because if you don't get many second chances. And look, Kel Watts I'm sure he's a great guy, but he's the same age as Botman, and Botman's getting called up to the Netherlands, and we have to make room. So Kel Watts is gone. It also looks like Jamal Lewis is heading out on loan to Watford, another player that really possibly could have liked to have seen leave for a fee rather than out on a loan, but it goes back to where we've come from, and I've already listed a few other players there. We probably already have another goalie we should try and move on this window. It's just, we could spend a lot of time trying to wheel and deal and get fees for these players, or do you just get them out to make space, get the wages off the bill? Would it be worth more of our time trying to sell Jamal Lewis for, how much would we get for him? I would like to still think 5, 6, 7 million for a kid we played. What did we pay for him? Oh, God, I can't remember. 12 million, was it? 12, 10, 15 million? We paid some amount of fee that I think we definitely probably won't see back at this time. But it seems like loaning them out is not the answer. But is it the answer? Because otherwise, it's trying to move players on. And let me know your thoughts on the Jamal Lewis one below. And if you think we should be spending more time trying to get actual moves, or if the concentration is just get wages out off the bill, get players out the door. Let's not have people sitting around doing nothing. Like, where's Ryan Fraser right now? I'm sure we're definitely looking to try and move him on somewhere. And then we'll finish on Maxi as well, because that's the high, the headline news stuff is Maxi right now, isn't it? It looks like will be announced in the next 24, 48 hours as a player over in Saudi Arabia. And that's the thing, I would have way rather sold Carl Darlow for 4 million, Lewis for 5 million, Hendrick, Hayden, Fraser for 4-5 million, and kept Maxi. But I spoke about this the other day. In a team where we need money to spend money, at least Maxi is a player that can be done in a few weeks. We could spend all window trying to sell Carl Darlow for 4 million and fail. Or we can just go ahead and make a deal like a Maxi one right there. So let me know your thoughts down below on the situation with players leaving the club. I think the promising thing is it looks like players are in fact walking out the door. Whether they're leaving for the right amount of fee that we should hope to be getting, I don't know. Is it because it's just worth getting them out and making the space and having wages back? Because I think we were quite high on our wage bill in terms of money coming in compared to most other Premier League teams, which is surprising in fairness, because I think a lot of players, I think our wage structure is reasonable compared to a lot of other teams, but it still seems that it was high, and I think that's because you're still paying 40, 50 grand to players who aren't even in the squad. Never mind on the match day, or in the squad at all. And at least a loan is taking Jamal Lewis's, 30, 40k a week away from the club. So, you could look at it like that. Fair enough, there is no fee. But if you want to times, 40 grand a week over a year, all of a sudden, that is some serious savings. So let me know your thoughts on all of that down below. Let me know your thoughts on the game last night over in the USA. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching as always. Enjoy your evening. And I'll catch you later.